ACT 反仇恨联盟于1月18日举行线上简报会，会议的主题是反对仇恨行动日，圣拉蒙最近的事件响应，利用教育和学校协会作为变革推动的方法以及学生与公民的参与。与会人士呼吁通过教育和学校机构来减少消除仇恨犯罪，他们也提醒大众1月28日是减少仇恨犯罪的行动日，恳请大家参与。何美梅指出，行动反仇恨联盟解决方案重点的一个基本关键是为各级教育机构从学前班到大学进行编程，为学生提供一个培养讨论、开放表达的平台，以及一个前后一致、清晰的基础，使包容性和多样性不是表在于他们做了什么，而是在于他们真正的本质是什么。本次视频分享其中一部分内容。
Thank you so much for the invitation, and Bob and Mamie, thank you for the work that you do. And again, extending the invite for me to be here today. It was an interesting circumstances that led to the actions that we took over the Christmas holiday. And, we live in a very, very quiet community here. I live in the area. I have the best police job in the world, being the leader of the San Ramon Police Department. And I think that's a key component involved in this, is that when I saw what had taken place on Christmas Eve, I was able to take pretty quick actions. And a lot of that is based on what we've been able to develop here in San Ramon and what we've been able to really enhance as far as our community outreach system. So we've been very involved in our local social media and pushing out to the community and having a relationship in a service-based organization here. And so when this came about, it was actually Christmas morning. And as you can imagine, I was in the family room and we were in the midst of opening presents, and there was a notification that came across from someone on social media who had tagged our organization, and it involved the video that was posted by the victims in this case on TikTok. And so taking the platforms we've developed and the relationship that we've had with the community, we were able to boost that out and say, hey, if anyone knows who these individuals are, please have them contact us so we can take the appropriate action. And I think the important component in that is that we're using the platforms that we had developed to really increase our engagement with the community to be able to contact the people who are the victims here. And I think you mentioned several times, and it's already come up probably 3 or 4 times, the value of education. And in this situation, that was directly related to what we were able to do, because we're very familiar with the California laws that are in place as they surround hate crime and hate speech and what it takes to get to a criminal level. And in this case, understanding and knowing where freedom of speech ends and hate speech begins was critical. We used in the penal code, it's 422.6 subsection A. And what that has, the California legislature has put in place for a tool for us in law enforcement, is when you take that speech and it rises to the level where you're intimidating, you're threatening, you're disturbing the public peace of someone based on their perceived characteristics, then you've risen to a criminal level. And knowing that and having that in our back pocket to be able to take the actions that we needed was critical. So the other component that comes with this is from a law enforcement perspective, as we talk about philosophies and in policing, what we need to change and what I can do as a leader to make that change move forward is really understanding the victim compassion. So through social media, we were able to contact the people who were at the restaurant that evening. They reached out directly to me via Twitter, and I engaged with them. And it was just a simple messaging back and forth and letting them know that as a law enforcement organization, we're here for them. We want to investigate this further. We want to be an advocate for them to make sure this crime is brought to justice. So with that engagement, with the community involvement, we were able to identify the suspect that was involved. We were able to take appropriate action. And within less than 48 hours after the crime occurred, and a little more than 24 hours after we were notified of what took place, we were able to take the individual into custody for violations of Penal Code 422.6, hate crimes within the state of California. So I think being able to take that swift action, knowing what is in our pocket and the tools that we can use based on the laws that have been put into place is critical for us in law enforcement. And as an industry leader and as an organizational leader in law enforcement, it's using this platform that we've been given the opportunity to take the action, to put it out there that this is not going to be tolerated in our community, and advocating for these actions has been critical. As a matter of fact, just roughly about an hour before this meeting started, I had another local police chief in the Bay Area reach out to me directly via text message. Someone, you mentioned Command College, this was someone that I went to and attended that course with, reached out directly and said, hey, how did you guys handle this? What did you use? Because we have a case that's going down these same lines. And so it's using these platforms and using the experience we have to advocate, to spread the word, and to be able to be there to understand that from a law enforcement perspective, these types of actions are no longer going to be tolerated. We are going to take the appropriate measures because we have the tools to be able to do it. So I think from our perspective in a law enforcement, that's what we want to do as an organization. As the leader of this organization, it's my role to set the example for what I'm expect our people in this organization to do, and as an industry, what is expected from law enforcement moving forward. So again, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Meme, for the opportunity to be here today. As we move forward, I will add my information into the chat. If anyone has any follow-up questions or anything, I'll be here later on. Or if anyone would like to reach out offline, I'd be more than happy to connect and talk more about what we were able to accomplish.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your touching story. I mean, you were literally rousted out of your Christmas day, hopefully a quiet day, time with your family, and moved into action because it benefited the community. Our third presenter today is Trustee Tim Shaw. Tim Shaw serves as a trustee on the Orange County Board of Education, where he has been a strong advocate for parental rights and education choice for the students of Orange County. Trustee Shaw also serves as an adjunct professor of political science at Rio Hondo College. Tim Shaw served on the La Habra City Council from 2008 to 2022, where he also served with distinction twice as mayor and represented his city regionally on numerous boards and commissions. Shaw has a bachelor's degree from Southern Illinois University, a master's degree in legislative affairs from George Washington University, and an executive certificate in public leadership from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. Trustee Tim Shaw, with his wife Shannon, has six sons, and lives in La Habra. Tim, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Senator. It's true, we could never get a girl. We tried. It's a real honor for me to be here with you, and thank you guys for your leadership as always, and doing this great work of combating hate across our state. Here in Orange County, we are home to one of the most important civil rights cases that really helped turn the tide in the 20th century, Mendez versus City of Westminster. And we recently commemorated that anniversary, and that really helped lay the groundwork for desegregating schools across our whole country. So at our Orange County Department of Education, we do try to commemorate the different months that come up, Native American History Month and these other, things that come up every year. We make mention of and try to do that. But of course, the education really is the key to combating hate and teaching young people to love all of God's children. And that work is ideally done in the home by the parents as they raise their children to love and respect everybody. But at the schools where we can try to play a role, and obviously from an early age, students are in classrooms with other students from different races, and learning to appreciate and learn about different cultures and different histories and people who might have come from a different part of the world. One anecdote I wanted to share, if I could for a moment. When I was in graduate school, I had a professor who he'd gotten his political science PhD, and for his doctorate paper, he wanted to research what causes political conflict within countries. And he approached this topic hypothesizing that it would probably be a religious difference or perhaps an ethnic difference, and these kind of differences cause political strife. But as he did his research, he actually came to the conclusion that if you could put your finger on one single thing, it was differences in language that often tended to be a barrier in countries. And he pointed to the divisions that had happened earlier in Canada's history, where the French and English populations were disagreeing and stuff. So that really stuck with me as he taught my class about that, and overcoming language barriers sometimes can be an obstacle, but a challenge. And one thing we do a very poor job in our country is having our young people learn different languages. So in my role as a County Board of Education member, I want to always encourage, and I'm trying to promote the idea of teaching our young people that they should have at least 2 languages or more. And one of the things we do at our County Board of Education is we get to charter different charter schools. So at the moment, we have 20 charter schools across Orange County that do a terrific job. One of them that's fairly new, I helped get chartered when I joined the board shortly after that, is the Irvine International Academy. And they have a very strong focus in their curriculum at teaching Chinese at their school. So we have young people, and there was a group of the parents who came to our meeting with their kids at our last board meeting, and here came a Hispanic family with a Hispanic boy who spoke Spanish, spoke English, and spoke Chinese. So I thought that was really impressive and really neat, and obviously helping to bridge different cultural rifts that might be out there. So with that, we just want to do everything we can at our board and our department to encourage young people that are in our care to learn and respect and appreciate different cultures at all times. So thank you, Senator, for inviting me.
Thank you, Tim, for sharing what's going on in Orange County and your perspectives on addressing this issue. And certainly our families are the first line of defense, but so often they have their own struggles, and then it falls upon the school system and the communities to do the job that the parents are deficient in. Having said that, our next presenter is Dr. Kevin O'Mara, a seasoned educational professional. He worked in education arena for over 30 years, serving as a teacher, dean of students, principal, and superintendent. Dr. O'Mara is president of School Exec Connect, has been with the firm for 6 years, and has led numerous searches throughout the Midwest. The retired superintendent of Argo Community High School District, Dr. O'Mara is currently associate professor in educational leadership at Concordia University, Chicago, teaching doctoral students who are also pursuing general administrative and superintendent licensure. Guided by a fundamental belief in the value of collaboration, reflection, and capacity building, O'Mara teaches new and experienced leaders that their dedication, knowledge, and input directly impact and enrich young lives. Having received numerous education awards and recognitions, Dr. O'Mara has a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Dominican University, a master's degree in public school administration from Concordia University, Chicago, and a doctorate in educational leadership from the same institution. Welcome, Dr. O'Mara. We look forward to hearing your comments.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Bob. And May, I appreciate the invitation to share this conversation with you today. As you have mentioned, I am a president and co-owner of School Exec Connect. We do searches across the United States for senior leadership in K-12 education and charter schools and some private schools as well. My partner, Dr. David Negron, is a first-generation Mexican-American, and we have over 50% of our consultants, and we have over 70 are minorities or women or both. We're the only firm in the United States that has that kind of background. We take this very, very seriously. In schools, at least in the K-12 situation, most of these episodes are bullying kinds of episodes or hate speech or graffiti scrawled on bathrooms. And we have mandated that boards now that we work with have a strong presence on anti-hate kind of policies and procedures in place. The first thing that we mandate with boards that we work with, or strongly encourage at least, is to have a series of solidarity events against hate and bias throughout their community, usually 8 to 10 per school year. And there's several segments to that. I'm happy to discuss that more with anyone who would like to have a further conversation. In the Midwest, our hate crime percentage that was just released from last year is up 72%. So we've got a lot of work to do. In school settings, we encourage policies and procedures to align with, instead of straight out consequences for these kinds of actions on behalf of school children, to have several different kinds of actions take place. The two that we have found to be most impactful are guided reflection on behalf of the school children that are involved in these issues, and a restorative justice practice in place for schools. We feel that these have far-reaching effects on changing behaviors moving forward. We have combined our DEI and SEL programs. They're not separate anymore. They're one thing. They're helping students learn and grow and to accept all as human beings. And that I think that's the central feature of our message going forward as we work with school boards, school children, especially parents and community members at large. Thank you again for the opportunity. Anyone who wants more information about these programs, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, Senator.
汉庭卫视记者赵诗涵与洛杉矶报道。